On today's episode, we discuss
good, clean sex
and the preferred method of suicide among classy ladies. All that and much, much more on today's Murder We Spoke. Alright guys, welcome back to Murder We Spoke.
Hello.
This is, I think only our 6th episode, so we're still new at this, you guys. Not podcasting, but just
Yeah.
Rocky start. Anyway, you guys off to a rocky start.
It's been a while. We were trying to ease into it, but...
No, just crashed and burned right into it.
But it's okay.
But anyway, we're the show that we break down the best episodes of Murder, She Wrote.
Right.
We're taking listener suggestions. This one actually, I picked this one ahead of time just because I thought the name was fabulous. Oh. But luckily someone on Twitter was like, no, that is a great episode. You absolutely have to watch it.
And it delivered.
No joke.
It's my favorite episode we've seen so far.
It is easily the best one we've seen so far. I would 100% agree with that. It was fend. This tops the prison break episode.
Oh, by far to me.
Which was phenomenal.
Oh, definitely.
And and we got Derp Cop. Like, it's set in Cabot Cove, which is the first one...
Truly.
Since the one we did on our other podcast,
with the
Pretty
federal. Oh yeah.
Because that was the only one, right? With So
when he was the ex-terrorist kind of guy.
Yeah, you guys. So if you know what we're talking about, on our other podcast, Pretty Little Podcasters, we did an episode because someone who was on Pretty Little Liars, the other show we cover, was on an episode of Murder, She Wrote. So we covered it on that, and that's kind of what the jumping off point for this podcast, actually.
Because then we saw it, and we're like, wait, we're kind of obsessed with
the
show.
We kind of fell head over heels in love with JB Fletch, as
hero.
Obviously. So go back. If you haven't listened to it, go back to, just look at, we're on iTunes. It's still up there. Yeah. We did it only a couple months ago, so it's brand new. So go see that. So
yeah, that's
weird. So we're the show. We cover them. So we're trying to do now listener suggestions. So if you want us to cover an episode, we've gotten quite a few so far. So keep sending them in, and we're just going to bounce around like people. Like, tell us what the best ones are, because we're new. We started it together. Yeah, literally. This is our 6th episode. This is the 6th episode of Murder, She Wrote we've ever seen.
Yeah, I was not born when the show first started, and I'm introduced
I was.
But you weren't watching it as a little tiny.
I was 1 when it premiered, so no.
Okay, so no. But I'm glad I'm finding it now. It's on Netflix, in case anyone's curious. I don't know why you'd be listening to the podcast if you don't. But I mean, I don't know.
Maybe you just have, like, wonderful memories. And it's actually, I've learned it's on, like, in the UK, they air reruns of the show on the reg.
Oh, so it's like a Law and Order or a Big Bang Theory of...
And if you get the Hallmark Mystery Channel, which I do not get, which I can't imagine. It's deep on your cable dial if you do.
Right. That sounds fantastic.
But they show, like, Saturday nights is like, I don't know if it's Saturday, but, like, they show, like, Murder, She Wrote on the regular on that channel, too. So.
I feel like when I was younger, my nonna would normally watch novellas, but I feel like I remember that typewriter beginning. Like, from my back memory.
That's the thing. I have, like, not a great memory of Murder, She Wrote because of that. Because when I was a kid, whatever show I wanted to watch was on right before that. So I'd watch my kid stuff, and then you hear that do, and it's like, oh, the kid shows are over. Murder, She Wrote's on. Fuck this channel. Get the remote. Run far.
Now you know you're an adult.
And now I'm an adult. Complete opposite. Now I'm turning. I had the same experience actually with I Love Lucy, because remember when Nick at Night was not its own channel, like TV Land is now Nick at Night, essentially.
Right. Back when Bill Cosby was on it?
Basically.
No? Yeah.
Never forget. Back when, like, it would show cartoons up until 7 p.m., I feel like, and then it would start in with old people shows.
Yes.
So it would literally, I'd be watching Rugrats, and then smash cut to I Love Lucy. And I was like, black and white, fuck you, I'm out. And now
Yes.
I love Lucy because it's one of the greatest shows of all time.
Right.
So, like, childhood me had shitty taste. Like, no time for Murder, She Wrote. Zero time for Black and White, I Love Lucy.
I was all into Are You Afraid of the Dark? I like like if you listen to any of the podcasts, like, you know I'm a creeper, but I think that just kind of sets in. Mm-hmm. But
so yeah, so those I don't think we've ever talked about that, but those are my like memories because I'm sure I must have known because if you look at the ratings on this thing,
exactly.
If you had a family member who was over 50, you knew someone who watched this show.
And that's what I was saying, I think, on one of the other ones. My mom used to watch it occasionally, and she's like, oh, yeah, like, we met Angela Lansbury at the farmer's market.
You
and
can call her Jessica, I think it's okay.
Right. And I was like, damn it, why was I an infant and don't remember? Mm-hmm. Like, I would have appreciated, but I feel cooler.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad we got our Murder, She Wrote origin story out of the way.
Exactly. That was nice.
That was nice. Okay. All right, guys.
And we're not including... Melissa's normally here.
She is. She'll be back sometime. She's... I don't know. She's checking her text at home instead of while we're watching the show. So it's...
Barbie.
Yeah. So she'll be back. Don't worry, you guys.
Yeah.
She'll check in eventually, every once in a while, just to keep up.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. And we love it.
So today we're covering the season 4 episode 7, entitled If It's Thursday, It Must Be Beverly.
Which, when Ben told me what episode we were watching, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, all the other ones are like, they kind of make a little more sense. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going for it. I don't know.
A lot of them, half the titles just have the word murder in them.
Right.
So it's, it's pretty straightforward.
Right. I assumed Beverly was a name, but I just liked it because Beverly reminded me of Jinx.
I was thinking, if it's Thursday, it must be Beverly. How does he say?
Douglas. Beverly.
That's my starting jumping off point to do a Robert Durst impression. Yeah. Douglas.
Exactly.
I have to start on Douglas.
And on every podcast, we do a Jinx impression or a Robert Durst impression.
Yeah. We talk about so we've talked about Jinx. We'll talk about Hannibal. Maybe in 30 minutes. We'll talk a little Hannibal, and it'll be like a full podcast. That's
okay. I almost brought up Hannibal already because I was going to say when I used to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, and then the first movie I ever saw was Silence of the Lamb, which kind of brought me into my... It helped me become who I am today.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Hannibal.
There's zero doubt of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I picked it because I just love that title. Didn't know really what it meant.
Right.
Just loved it. It becomes clear in the episode, it's gorgeous.
I literally had a revelation when the episode progressed. I was like, that's why it's named this. And I really enjoyed that.
And it's named... I looked this up. It's named after... It's an allusion to a 1969 comedy movie called If It's Tuesday, This Must Be Belgium.
Oh.
It's about a group of American tourists. It's on YouTube. I actually went and watched the first 20 minutes of it. It's
good?
It's not bad. It's one of those movies. It's not great, but it's certainly not bad.
Right.
Did you ever watch that show Deadwood?
No.
Ian McShane, the main guy, with the what do you call those beards that go down your...
Yeah, the handlebar.
Yeah, handlebar, there you go. With the handlebar, he is in this movie, he's a young, good-looking British dude, and it's super freaky because, I did not even recognize him, and Suzanne Plachette is in it, who's hilarious. But it's so bizarre, because there's some of the fades they do, going from scene to scene, some of the cuts are... It's almost like it's a horror movie. It's treated very weirdly. But it's about not 18, but it's about I think a group of 8 Americans who are all on the same tour to go around Europe. And it's just such a tight, compact tour that's why the title is If It's Tuesday, This Must Be Belgium, because they're just going so fast. They don't know where they are. They don't know what they're doing. And their tour guide, Ian McShane, tries to keep them busy during the day so he can go bang chicks at night.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's a very appropriate, super appropriate title.
Well, it works with this episode, actually.
Oh,
that kind of ties right in.
The writers, did not let us down with this title.
No, they're on top of it.
But, seriously, I would recommend watching...
The first 20 minutes?
The first 20 minutes, just to see the fades, because they're it's these jokey joke, always trying to go have sex with this, late 60s hippie chick. And then smash cut to old man and his wife like, why'd I let you drag me to Europe? You're going to be the death of me. And then like smash cut to like showing like all the monuments they see, and there's this super creepy slasher music, but it's like supposed to be a comedy. It's so, like, the tone is so weird. It's actually like quite intriguing. But I watched the first 20 minutes on YouTube. I would recommend people do, because
I will.
It's a very interesting vibe for this movie.
Okay.
That's all. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so typically to jump off, we do a recap. And we've been doing 30 seconds.
Okay.
But that's too much.
Right.
We've been getting it all done. That's no fun. So, Marissa, I'm going to ask you to give us a recap of this episode in 20 seconds.
Shit.
And while I figure out how to work my stopwatch on my iPhone, you have time to think. Are you ready?
I think, yeah, might as well.
All right, recap this episode for us, starting now.
So we have good old Jessica. There's a murder. It looks like a suicide, but there's no suicide note. And, oh, wait, women don't kill themselves with guns. So then they find her husband, who just happens to be a policeman who's getting calls different days of the week. And so he's basically sleeping around, and the mailman did it. Oh, damn it. I couldn't find it. If I had 30 seconds, I could have done it.
I got in your head. I turned the phone towards her so she could see it.
And then I just saw the numbers counting down.
You were doing really good, though.
Fuck. I nailed the other one. I'll have to practice my 20 seconds.
That's why this 20-second one is more fun, because you really got to boil it down. You got to dig in.
You're like, she's doing too well. Count the numbers, bitch.
Look at it. No. I thought you were going to do bad at this. So damn it.
Okay, well, now you know.
But I feel like your recap was actually perfectly encapsulating this episode, because you spent the whole first 55 minutes of the episode, or 40 minutes of the 45-minute episode, like bouncing around from all these women. Clearly one of these women did it. Did he do it for these women? Like, it's just a string of that, and at the end, oh no, it was the mailman, like out of nowhere.
And I think when we've been watching these 6 episodes, we kind of feel like we know who did it. We always call it ahead of time. Like,
that thing, I do. I Babe Ruth point my bat.
And we've been right about it. And
this one, like, the batting average is not terrible.
Yeah.
Frankly.
And this one, we were watching and vocally like, wait, what? Oh no. What would his motive be? Like, it was actually strung us along, and it was good.
It was well written. It was cleverly intertwined.
Yeah.
The misdirects were, like, it wasn't like that's clearly a misdirect. Like, I'm not going to pay attention to that. Like, well written misdirects. Yes. Like, it was, like, on point. Time was spent on this episode.
And we appreciate it.
Because that's the thing, because usually sometimes with these hour-long ones, you kind of get in around, like, the 30-minute mark, and it's like, okay, are we about done now?
Right.
Like, you've misdirected me twice now. Can we kind of get to the main thing? But this whole time, you're kind of following this path. And, like, I was engaged. I was like, which one of these ladies did it? I called the younger woman who was...
the dummy.
The dum-dum. That was my call. Like, first 2 minutes, she's like, you don't do it that way, you idiot. And I was like, that's her. She's killing someone. She's had enough, and she's killing a bitch.
Almost there.
I was like, and she was the last one. They made you think like, oh shit, it was her. I literally had my hands raised in victory, and I was like, I called it again. I was so proud of myself.
I'm the shit. Oh no, I was wrong.
No, and that's the thing. Because another thing, it's almost like, because all these women that we learn he's banging around with, like, minimum age, aside from Dum Dum,
55,
60. Yeah, and like, and the progression that we see.
Yes,
is gorgeous, because you start off with these women like, okay, they're on par. That's fine. Like, he would have an affair with her. I get it. They're roughly the same age. She's a little younger, but they're pretty much the same.
Then she gets to Beverly.
Oh my god! And then we keep going. First, don't forget to stop at like the Delta Burke from Designing Women. Like, this woman who straight up looks like a sugar baby woman. Like, it was crazy.
Oh my god!
And then we get to like hopefully she's like in the rest of the series. Our new favorite character, Beverly, who fucking killed it.
She was fantastic. I felt like she was a little cross-eyed too.
She was a little lazy eye going on. Like, clearly 15, 20 years older than this guy.
Literally like in a nurse's outfit, but not the sexy kind, like the old lady kind.
The old lady, like World War II.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that's probably her uniform from World War II. She just never gave it up, and she's like, I'll just be a nurse now.
Right.
Because they have the uniform, so why not?
Oh my god. Yeah, that was fantastic. And then you get to the youngie, and you're like, wait, I thought he was only into old people.
Like,
even though she's still, like, probably in her late 30s, 40s.
You feel like he was, like, milfing it up. Or gilfing it up? Is that a thing?
Gilfing it up. Like, great.
It was great gilfing it up.
Yeah.
Good gilfing it up.
And he looks like, he's not cute at all.
No, that's the hardest part of this whole thing to digest, is that he is not... Maybe it's the sheriff's, because he was the deputy. Maybe it's the outfit. Maybe that's what all the ladies were swooning over.
And they were so all lonely.
That's true. Like, they did a great job, because when we started out the episode in the beauty shop, I thought that was
perfect.
Super fun scene. That was so good. They're just like...
all getting their hair done. They're all, like, being assholes and gossiping.
Super gossipy. And, like, Loretta, the gruffly voiced woman who runs the whole thing.
Who we thought was from...
Orange is the New Black.
She looks like that...
She's one of the supporting characters. Could not tell you her name. But if you watch this episode and you watch Orange is the New Black, you know exactly who we're talking about.
But I looked it up, and you know who she's actually in?
No.
She's one of the main females from Strangers on a Train.
No way.
She's the one the guy tries to kill his wife so he can marry her, the senator's daughter.
Oh, shit.
I know. I was like, this is big time. Like, she was,
That's crazy.
Yeah, she was a big person back in the day. Like, I was looking up IMDb, and of course they're all, like, gorgeous black and white. Like, back in the day when they were all flawless.
Yes, I actually know exactly what you're talking about, because I always go on IMDb and look up, like, oh, is there anybody on here, like, that I remember that's noteworthy? Because I don't watch the episode until we watch it, but I just want to research, like, is there someone that I need to know?
So you can pretend to know them when we watch them, like, oh, basically. Hey, I know that person.
I would have pretended with Strangers on a Train Girl if I was going to.
Right, exactly.
But... it is like all the there's a certain point where if you're over the age of 57, your picture on IMDb is a black and white, or like not even 57. If you're over like the age of like 70,
right?
Your picture on IMDb is a black and white photo of you from 1954 when you were looking your best way. When you were at the top of your game.
And if you just IMDb any random Murder, She Wrote episode, the cast list is all like the black and white pictures. It's amazing. I love it.
It's fantastic, because that's the thing. They all are, especially people of that generation that were watching it then, they recognized her immediately.
100%.
There's someone in every episode for you to recognize, especially in Cabot Cove, because you have Tom Bosley, who is from Happy Days.
Right.
So there's someone for you to glom onto. That actually becomes, we'll talk about, I guess there's not much to talk about, but in later seasons, when the ratings drop a little bit, the producers are like, okay, we're hiring nobodies, because these people that are recognizable are costing too much money.
Oh.
So this season and next season, don't get the black and white photos disappear, and the young up-and-comers that nobody recognized are coming in.
I was literally about to say, I appreciate so much all the old people in the show, because like the youngest person is always in their 40s.
Yeah.
Like, that's anyone you talk to is at least in their 40s.
It's such, because that's the thing, especially since we watch Pretty Little Liars and discuss it to death, it's such a dramatic change from a town where if you're over the age of 27, we don't want to, like...
Even as a parent,
as the police force.
The oldest person on PLL, Pretty Little Liars, for those who don't know, is Miss Grunwald, who was the one who we saw in Murder, She Wrote.
So she's like grandfathered in.
She really was the oldest person I've ever seen.
Oh, easily. And she's like she's like got old woman mystical powers. Like, that's the thing. Like,
yeah.
If you live past the age of 47 in the town of Rosewood, you're a mystical magician. Yeah, you're a mystical wizard.
And even she still looks fucking gorgeous. Like, if I look
those
like
eyes,
her...
those eyes are popping and will be popping forever. Her eyes are gorgeous. Like, we even talked about it on the episode where we covered it.
Yeah.
How is she, like, not a giant star? How is, like... Because she kind of had a Kirstie Alley thing going on, but she had, like...
In a good way.
In a good way.
Right.
Like, Kirstie Alley, like, circa Cheers. Like,
right, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
she really did.
She, like, had total Kirstie Alley going on. Just every bit as gorgeous as Kirstie Alley.
Except
but she had these
eyes.
Piercing, unforgettable blue eyes. And she was a good actress. Like, she's not a slouch in the acting department. So, like, I don't know how...
The killer in this episode... Spoiler alert, she's a killer in the other one. But the killer in this one, he couldn't even fake a tear. She was like actually
this was
star.
like no, we were like mesmerized because she was mid monologue. It wasn't like pan away, Visine drop, continue scene. She's talking, watering up, tears falling out of her eyes. Scene.
Yeah, done.
Genius. This woman's brilliant.
Yeah. So Miss Grunwald, listen to our episode, watch it, you'll understand. You'll fall in love with those eyes.
Oh, they're gorgeous. And she comes back in season 12. I can't wait to get there. We'll definitely be covering.
How does she come back?
As a different person. Okay. As a different person. That apparently, from what people have told me on Twitter, because people on Twitter have been very cool, like, you know, as you go through, you're going to notice this, you're going to see this. And we've gotten warnings about the bookend episodes, which are coming up very soon.
What bookend episode?
The bookend episodes are...
This is... You've got, like, your face looks so excited to tell me right now.
I am very excited. The bookend episodes, in season 6, Angela Lansbury's getting a little older, not quite enjoying her, 16-hour days, and is only in 17 of the 24 episodes. What she did, the other episodes are what they call bookend episodes, where she would come in as a narrator and be like, and introduce the story, and she would kind of close it out at the end, like, and that's the story of so-and-so, I guess. I've not actually seen one yet.
Whoa.
But she narrates the beginning and the end, and the middle is a totally Jessica-free episode.
See, this is interesting because Jessica's the highlight, Avi.
Exactly. But we're going to talk about it because, like, the whole fighting behind the scenes with Angela Lansbury and the producer and CBS, like, it's a whole drama, and we'll get there.
Okay.
But the bookend episode started in earnest in season 6, and that's where we're season 4 now. And we're going to get season 6 very soon, and the first episode in season 6 we're doing is a bookend episode.
Okay. So, I'm nervous, but excited.
That's exactly how it should be. Nervous, but excited.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Look forward to that.
So we're going to get to a good old-fashioned bookend episode. But so people on Twitter, they've been kind of warning us, like, what to expect. Here's what you got to see. So, but apparently one of the common things is multiple actors will come back, multiple seasons, playing completely different people. Even though they had, like, a big role, like Meg Foster.
Right.
They had a big role, a memorable role. But we were going to bring it back as someone else a couple seasons later.
Right.
Although in this case it was 10 seasons later, but still.
I'm sure we'll find other ones to pick a beef with.
You're not going to forget those eyes. You're not going to forget those eyes. So
you can't. And she really was the main person
in
that movie, that show. Movie. I'm already making her a movie star.
Because that's the thing. That episode was only okay, but because of her, it was so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the thing. Sometimes, like, an actor can, like, one of the guest stars can elevate an episode.
Yeah, that's why they have an Emmy for guest stars and roles.
Mm-hmm, exactly. But sometimes you don't need anybody because you've got, like, the drama of the salon. Right.
So for this episode, I haven't seen one in a while, but I was so happy because it had our token derpy derp cop.
It's the first time back in Cabot Cove, so we got...
And we need to play a drinking game because the same things I feel like happen in the episodes.
When we get all three of us, when Marissa's back here.
Marissa, I'm here. Melissa, yeah.
Not the first time I've done that. No, it won't be the last. Maybe we'll even talk. We have a super special guest next episode, you guys. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up. But so maybe when she's here, maybe we can talk her into doing a little Murder She Wrote drinking game.
I feel like I'm good at peer pressure.
I think, yeah.
I'll just show up with wine and be like, come on.
Let's do it.
You're a guest.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, let's rock and roll. But the question would be, would you drink?
I might I'd like a little sip.
Oh, come on.
I'm a straight edge man. I'm straight edge.
Okay. We'll see how peer pressure does.
No drinking, no drugs.
You
no
have
sex
like
before
X's
marriage,
on your
all
hand.
that stuff. Yeah, all that, everything that goes along with it.
Okay, good.
It's all my own choice. Maybe I'll have like a little. I had on our other podcast. I drank Ravenswood wine.
I had that the other day at Wood Ranch.
Got a headache.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Melissa really liked it.
It was like super smooth.
I have like a little. You've seen me drink. I drink like the little bit. You finish my drinks. That's what I order a drink. I eat the olives out of it, and then you finish it for me. That's how it works.
We need to go back to Sir or Pump. Okay.
Oh yeah, we
goat cheese balls. Okay.
Congratulations, Schwartz and Katie. By the way, though.
Yeah, mazel on that one.
Yeah. So.
Big ring.
Anybody who got that reference that's listening to a Murder She Wrote podcast. Send us your address and we'll send you a goodie bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you know both things?
Why wouldn't you?
That's
fantastic.
crazy. Yeah.
That means you're well-rounded.
That means like you're actually in the perfect place. Is what that means.
Yeah.
If you got that reference,
it's where we are.
Welcome on board. You're our new best friend. You are our new best friend.
There's only like 2 of us, so
we couldn't be happier to live in your earbuds. Thank you.
So good.
Anyway,
so there's, I mean, the nail or the hair salon drama. Then there's a mailman who's fucking nosy as fuck, talking like, "Oh,
yes.
you have a 3-page credit card bill. Oh, look at this magazine." Like,
no, and like no one's like offended by it. Like, how do you not open the shit and see that? You would have to open it up, and then later on, I think he was at Jessica's house. He's like, "Oh, you got this magazine. Oh, this article on page 15 here is really good. You might enjoy it." It's like, hey, dickhole.
Mind your own fucking business.
Get out of my mail. Like, but it accentuated like the small town.
Right, absolutely. Because it reminded me. There's not to keep talking about other shows, but in Gilmore Girls, there's like an episode or Kirk. He always does like small stuff, but he was a mailman once, and no one could find their mail, so they all had to like, "Oh, hey, you have my mail." Like, they all traded because it's small town neighboring. And I was like, that's exactly what this is. Like, they're all just at the nail salon passing out.
Because that's the thing, like, he didn't show up to their house to deliver the mail.
No.
He showed up to the nail salon to deliver their mail.
And he also does lottery tickets.
Which,
like,
how does that work?
Scratchers. Did you see that? They weren't even like lotto tickets.
They were scratchers, but then they had a number on them. Like, they were so clearly like Hollywood lotto tickets.
And like, they now have like a grand prize of $2 million.
Well, that was the special New Hampshire one because Jessica brought that up. She's like,
I thought it was 200,000.
Because maybe the Cabot Cove. What state is Cabot Cove in? Maine. Maybe the Maine lottery is only 200,000.
Right.
But those yuppies over in New Hampshire, they're giving away $2 million.
Exactly.
So the mailman goes to New Hampshire,
and they're fucking $10 a ticket. What is that shit? Oh no, Loretta bought 10.
She bought 10. Yeah.
Okay, so they're $1. Never mind.
And then, like, as we're talking about like how nosy everybody is and stuff, let's not forget that Jessica is not above all this, because the whole time when we get to the end of the episode, she's like, "I heard the ladies over talking. And I know that she got this number. She got this number." It's like, you fucking buddy. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you like to think you're standing above all this. Well, I don't participate in all this stuff. Yet, you knew everything that they did. And all you do is shadow this cop to get all up in everybody's shit.
Oh, 100%.
You're the worst of them, Jessica. I'm sorry. I still love you to death. But you are the worst gossiper of this whole town.
That's why her hair's so big. It's full of secrets. She just knows everything.
She is a know-it-all.
Yeah, but same with, well, Loretta knew everything too, the hairdresser. If you're in a hair salon, you just kind of hear it. But that was like,
I was loving Loretta like that. She was great.
Right.
And then when it looked like it was going to be Loretta was our murderer, I was heartbroken. I was honestly really upset. And then as soon as they like panned out and it wasn't her, I was like, oh, thank God. Like, we didn't want it to be Loretta. It got super sad super quick because she's like, "Yeah, I've been going to get collagen because in my line of work, you can't get old. You have to stay beautiful forever." Right. It's like, okay, I don't know if that's true for like doing people's hair, but she was also especially like when obsessed with the male guy, or no, the cop. That's the thing. Like he went on. He gave her Sunday or whatever. P.S. Sidetrack real quick. Like, I know men's libidos are over the top crazy. It's not every day. It's not every day, and especially not when you're in your 50s. Thank you. It is absolutely, like, pre-Viagra, not happening. Men have their sexual peak, I think, at like 19, and women have it in their 40s. There's not, he's outside of, he's way outside both of them. Exactly. He's coloring outside the lines, for sure. So, the fact that, I even like what's Derp Cop was even like, even the Lord rested on the 7th day. So I was like, that was a pretty good line. He had a lot of good lines this episode, I feel. So it was like... Because his lines this episode were all just allusions for, so you were having a relationship? Like, just really toned down, muted words for an affair. He always felt super uncomfortable. So basically, the cop is the one whose wife died, is having an affair with all these older women who are all like in Cabot Cove, so they all know each other and they're all old and they're all like, widowed. Yeah, all the women in this town who are divorced or widowed, all 7 of them. Right. He's banging. Like, on every day of the week. And they have like police phone calls where like, "Oh, my dog is missing. That's code for 1 to go over and fuck." That's the thing. And it's not like, again, it's so stupid. It's not like, okay, If it's Thursday, it must be Beverly. Name of the episode. So it's not like Beverly had a standing appointment on Thursday. She still had to call in every Thursday. Hey, my dog ran away. This woman
he's at work.
Like, you're out driving around like, hey, it's the middle of the night. Surely he's the only cop on the night shift in the tiny town of Cabot Cove.
Well, it's up until today, I've only seen one cop, Derpy Derp, and now there's two more.
And like then there was the deputy plus another
guy on the phone
an
who
extra
did talk.
Still another cop though.
Right.
Still counts.
Yeah.
But they had. Surely he could have been there, and just like gone off like or written something else. Like say he went like there was a disturbance report, anonymous disturbance reported here.
Right.
Like to have the women have to call in with the same excuse every time, like clockwork.
And it's
week
either
after
like
week.
Cat or dog.
Yeah, and the shit honestly in that book looked color coded, so it also looks like it was so couldn't have been more obvious.
Right. And Derpy Derp didn't realize it until Jessica.
Oh my god, Derpy Derp had some real derpy moments in this episode. Imagine the crime spree that could have happened in this town without Jessica.
I love it. And the surgeon, who we met in our first one, they're always cooking together. It's like their standing thing.
And this was the first time, like, there was a little, like, rivalry that we saw between the Derp and surgeon, Dr. Hazlitt.
Yes. There's a little competition, but every episode, someone's down for Jessica. That I've seen so far.
Absolutely. We are 6 for 6. We are 100% 6 for 6.
And this is across many seasons, so I feel like this is a good
It's not like the writers just kind of got it in their head for season 1 and got it out of their system. This seems to be a trend.
And the cop comes over to, not Derpy Derp, not killer cop, but creepy cop. What did he come over originally for?
He's just like, I need to talk. I need to get
he's like, I didn't do it. I know I don't have an alibi.
Yeah.
And then something led to another, and he was giving her like a back massage on the couch.
I didn't quite catch how that happened either. Like all of a sudden, like I feel like I looked down, took a bite of my dinner, looked up, and I was like, why is he touching Jessica?
Thank you. That same thing happened. I looked up, and they were just on the couch sitting next to each other, and he was like massaging her. And we kind of feel like this is weird because, like, no one just does this.
No, super weird. And
he's also, like, his wife was just murdered. Like, found bloody on the kitchen floor.
The body is not yet cold.
Yeah. And he's, like, massaging her, and Jessica's like, she's even kind of making some weird, like...
No, she is totally like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
Oh, she even said something along the lines
super sexual.
Along the lines of, like, you've got magic hands. Like, something like, you just... Like, I'm not to victim blame. You just invited him to touch your boobies.
Yeah, it was
like,
something that Ben and I looked at each other like, what, Jessica?
You just gave him like a not so subtle clue that you're DTF. Like you just told him. But we're all adults here.
He's like massaging her, and like you can't see me obviously, but like he puts his face close, but he still has wide eyes and like a creepy mouth. Like, kind of like a relative of Mr. Bean, less round face. Like
he did have like an elongated face, for sure,
and
like a stretched out, creepy old Mr. Bean.
Yeah, and then Jessica, she's like, when did she realize that he was being creepy?
Like right before his lips made contact with her neck.
I felt like he said something, that. But then he's like, oh, did I hit a nerve? And she's like, oh yes.
Yeah, and that's when the
mailman comes.
Yeah.
At the door.
And he's like, anyway,
so
stupid mailman.
Yeah. Stupid what? Oh, mailman. And so she's like, oh my god, and she like rushes him in, and then she like shoves the other guy out, and then she's like, oh well, if he wanted to hit on me, I'm sure he wanted to clear a path to go to someone else. Mm-hmm. And that's how she realized, because he hit on her, that he would hit on other people.
Yeah. Which is like kind of like low self-esteem for Jessica. If he's hitting on me, he must be hitting on other people.
Right, exactly. But
it's like, you're better than that, Jessica. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, you're Jessica.
Maybe you were the end goal. You don't know that.
You're the town celeb.
Yeah, exactly.
But so then they go like clue to clue and basically find out he's fucking everyone in the neighborhood, all the widow divorcees.
Like the middle of this episode was great because it was literally Jessica and Derpy Derp just hitting each woman's house.
Yes.
Like the first woman who wanted to get 2 plane tickets to Paris or to France.
Yeah.
Was like, they're all very coy about it. That's the thing. Like each woman is more coy Like, the first woman's super coy. Like, they start out super coy, don't want to say anything.
My company's my business.
Exactly. Which, true, especially since, Jessica, you don't fucking work for I don't see a badge on your chest.
Why the fuck is my travel agent talking to you?
That thing, and she's like,
yeah, no.
Oh, and he literally, like, just name checks her. Oh, Pam Dreer down at the travel agency said the complete opposite. It's fucking like, Pam fuck you, Pam. Like, this, not cool, bro.
Exactly. You shouldn't be talking about my fucking affairs with anyone else.
Yeah, don't be talking about my shit, especially, again, with an undeputized, like, citizen. Like,
yeah, except Derpy Derp has Jessica go in and ask all the questions because he feels uncomfortable this whole time. So
that's
it's
the thing.
like, everyone's used to it, I feel.
There's, like, such a weird progression where he gets more uncomfortable and just more divided from it. Like, in the episode we saw with him, he's, like, tailing Jessica and, like, parroting back the smart things she says.
Which he did a little bit this time.
Which he totally did this time. But by the end of the episode, he was just totally like, I'm going to be over here reading magazines.
Yeah.
You're going to go do all the cop work.
And if you even look at me, I'm going to pretend I'm reading, but I'm really just listening because I feel so awkward I can't even look at these people in the face.
Yeah.
Because it's all men and women thinking about women having sex are like, oh.
The old-timey values in this episode were, like, no one wanted to talk about anything, and everybody was, like, super sad, and then each progressive woman was like, oh, I loved him, I just knew it, and all this stuff, until we get to Beverly.
Fucking Beverly was amazing, because she's the surgeon's doctor's secretary.
Yeah.
And
secretary / nurse.
Nurse, right? I'm just assuming because of the outfit. I don't know. But she was they talked about it earlier, where she was late to work one day, the first time in 20 years.
Yeah. And that was great, because the build-up to this was actually phenomenal, because it's Derp Cop and Jessica walking up the street, and they run into the doctor, and they have a little conversation. And again, they run into the mailman. I'm now realizing, like, they kept shoving this mailman in our face.
And he was so obnoxious.
So obnoxious with these clues with the around the lotto tickets and then the missing mag. Like, they were dropping clues, but you were so laser focused on which one of these
fucking bitches did it.
Exactly, that you were not even focused. Like, it was such a wonderful misdirect.
And they have Derpy Derp Cop, so I'm like, oh, it's just Derpy Derp Mailman. Like, I literally just thought it wasn't
he's just like a thing. He's just like, he's there for comedic effect. We're gonna get a couple yucks out of him.
Right.
He's probably in every season. Like,
right.
He's
We
probably
don't
a
know.
regular character. We have no idea. Maybe that's what it was. Like, maybe someone who's been watching the show and has spent time in Cabot Cove, they're like, who's this mailman? Why have I never seen mailman before?
Right.
Keep an eye on you. But we're like, just another fucking dumb shit.
He's like, oh, mail's missing? That wasn't a clue for us. We're like, oh, Derpy Derp mailman. Of course he lost mail.
Of course he lost the mail. I was like, he kept it to read himself, obviously. Like, yeah, duh. He's like, oh, idiot mailman. No one gets their mail. In Cabot Cove. Okay, fine.
Right. Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind.
So yeah, maybe if we like watched this episode later on, we'd have been like, that fucking asshole. That's the one.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
But
so they run into the doctor on the street, and when they tell him again, he is just a normal citizen, not deputized, not part of law enforcement. They're like, oh, this lady's been banging him, this chick's been banging him, this chick's been like...
And we're on our way to go talk to your your employee of 20 years. Want to come?
Because, because she's one of his visitors, or like, again, one of the many words they use.
Right, with Jessica's eye rolls and winks and Derpy Derp's awkward glances, like, oh my god.
And the look on his face when they're like, we're going to see Beverly. And I was like...
He like almost threw a little hissy face, like, Beverly? Like, not Beverly.
He could not believe it. Could not believe it.
And then he just went along with the ride.
And then smash cut to...
the best moment. Basically, how did they lead up to... They asked her about her visitor, and it's just good, clean sex once a week.
They led from, like, on the street, them going to visit her, smash cut, it was just good, clean sex. Like, they didn't even show the question. It was just, like, her, like... owning it, just like, yep, that's exactly what was going on.
And she was just fucking proud.
And she's like, don't regret a single second of it. Like, again, this poor woman who was murdered, no one gives a fuck. People want to know who did it, because that's the drama. I feel like her funeral, like, empty seats.
We
no
actually
one cares.
had one woman who said that that's what she basically got for treating a man that way.
She treated such a good man so poorly. She got what was coming to her.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
And so fucking Beverly, and then it's like, she's just down for it, and then you hear her say, she's like, what did she say? Oh, that he was going to divorce, he was going to divorce her.
Leave her, eventually. And then Jessica's like, did he say that to you?
Yeah. And she's like, no, but a woman knows.
I was like,
And then Jessica looks to the cop and doctor, and they're like, ugh, like, no.
They're literally like, yeah, literally in the next room, the two grown adult men.
Drinking hot coffee. They're just like, they walk in, they're like, I'm going to have some coffee. And it's just coffee pot on the coffee table.
Yeah, which you would almost think would be a natural place for a coffee table. But it is like weird, like it's on top of a stack of magazines.
Yeah, it was so bizarre because when in the episode, I'm like, Ben, look, there's this hot coffee on the coffee table. And as I said it, I was like, that's pretty stupid. It's a coffee table.
Yeah.
But then I was like, it's not called
But no one puts
that.
a coffee maker on a coffee table.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't plug in your Keurig on... Where would it go? They didn't have... Where
it was like in front of the fireplace.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Okay, they just, like, the script said they drink coffee in the other room. And this, yeah.
By the way, when the surgeon or the doctor and the cop and Jessica are walking down the street, there's a great extra cameo of this old lady staring out the window.
Like, you guys, even if you don't believe us that this is a phenomenal episode, watch it just for that and keep your eye. Because, yeah, they leave and there's just totally an old woman who's a local and just standing at her window, just watching everything go down. And she's not watching it like, oh, that's Angela Lansbury. This is so exciting. A big Hollywood production. She's watching. She's looking out the window like, is this fucking over yet?
Yeah, like she has her hand on her hip, has sunglasses inside.
Inside. So that's the thing. Clearly, like, she's posted there. She's there all day. She doesn't want her eyes to get hurt from staring out in the sun. She's like, you assholes done? Can I leave my house now? Jesus Christ. All day with this bullshit?
Yeah.
I'm done watching your show, Angela Lansbury. I've had it up to here.
Oh my god, it was so great. So look out for that if you're watching.
That alone. That was a great extra cameo.
Oh, perfect. Anyway, Beverly, it's Thursday. Then they get... how did they go back to Loretta? Basically someone who knows everything?
Oh, because when they went to the beauty salon and Derp stands back and watches it and reads the newspaper. Oh. His one act of being a cop.
Right.
He had one like moment of clarity where he watched the young
Derp hairstylist.
Hairstylist. He watched her and it was like she was eavesdropping, but not in like a harmless kind of way, in like a
she's planning something.
Like she's planning something. Exactly. It's like you can discern different types of eavesdropping.
But you don't even know.
But you won't question someone who might have murdered a woman because you have to mention their naughty bits. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Good to know where we stand with you.
And she wasn't planning anything, was she?
No, she just heard, just like everybody else heard, like, oh, he's banging around and everybody. And then once they learn that, I don't know, like they wait for her to get off work and then go to her house. Because like the next scene was like they go to her house and she's... opens the door.
Dressed like a hooker.
Just, yeah. Like 1980s hooker. Like, not like...
Right. And not...
But just compared to this episode, like, because it wasn't an episode... If someone walked on screen in that outfit on any other show we're watching, wouldn't bat an eye. But in this episode, we were both like, whoa! Put some clothes on, sweetie.
Exactly. And she had, like, her hair done. And, like, compared to her hairstyle list outfit, it was just like, whoa. Like...
Yeah.
And what's his cop was there? So he was the one. She was the outlier. Like she was the younger of his affairs.
Because his affairs only got older
yeah.
as the week progressed. They got older. Like it jumped 5 years every one. It was insane.
Fucking Beverly was the best.
And then you got it. Why would not stop with Beverly?
Yeah, I don't know.
But like it's like he got to Beverly and then he couldn't get any older, so he had to start back over at the bottom. And so he went to the 23-year-old like. Or
right.
32, however.
Right, she's like in her late 20s or 30s.
Yeah, she's like in 1980s. Like she could have been in her mid 20s. She could have been in her mid 30s. Like,
but she's still younger than him. Is the point?
Far and away. Like she's still the youngest one on this episode. She probably is in her 30s.
Yeah.
So
she played stupid. I don't know if she was playing, but she like just seemed dumb.
Oh yeah.
Like
I mean, she was dumb.
Right.
So as Jessica and Derp Cop were talking to him, the idiot. Deputy sheriff in the other room is like, who's that at the door? What's going on? And she's like, stay in there. Don't come out here. And he's like, who is it? And it's like, oh, hey, it's the person, one of the several people you're having an affair with.
Yeah.
After your wife, again, body's still not cold.
Yeah, they haven't had a funeral yet. When there's a murder, they don't bury them until they've solved it. Court's over.
That's the thing. This guy.
He did not wait.
He did not wait. He kept up his schedule. That's the thing. He did not miss a single appointment.
He didn't.
It was incredible.
And then first, real quick, there was that when everyone found out there was this somber moment in the hair salon where, like, before it was all, like, everyone talking, and you just see this woman under the hairdryer, like, tearing up.
Delta
like,
Burke. That was Delta Burke.
Yes, taking her tissue. Everyone's silent, like, slowly drinking out of a Dixie cup because they all just had their heart
Because they all
broken.
hate each other now.
Yeah. And...
because they're all, like, fucking... because they've all been fucking patient zero. Like, AIDS patient zero. Like, you guys, AIDS started right there in Cabot Cove. That weird combination of older people with this young, like...
and they're like, we don't need protection. We can't get pregnant. We don't...
yeah,
we don't ovulate anymore.
That guy's dick created AIDS.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. That is where AIDS started.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your science teachers.
No,
whatever.
it wasn't some monkey in Africa. It was that guy's dick in Maine. That's where AIDS started.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then there was a scene, I don't know when it was, but one of the women, as soon as his wife died, was like, oh, here, I'm going to bring you this dish that has to sit in the fridge for 3 hours. Like, oh, you're, what did she say? Something like, you're not married anymore. You don't have to, you can indulge. Which was like, sweetie, he's been clearly fucking indulging.
Pretty sure that's not a problem of his.
Yeah, and then she opens the fridge to put it in. Why wouldn't he just be like, oh, okay, I'll take it? But
instead of like putting up this big front, like, oh, it's got to be chilled, like, oh, let me make sure I put it in a special place. So
yeah, he's like, let's eat it now. And she's like, you know my cooking, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Salmon mousse, by the way, that kind of sounded funky to me.
I've had salmon mousse.
Is it good? Mousse itself, I don't like because I'm a texture person, and it just...
yeah, it tastes exactly as you think it does.
Okay.
So if you like, and the one I had was like really smoky. So if you like a smoked, like a lox kind of thing,
love lox,
then you actually probably would like it.
Okay.
The texture is not as moussey as you think.
Okay.
It's more of a. It's almost like a spicy tuna in a tuna roll.
Ooh.
It's like that. It's not whipped and.
Okay, I was worried. I thought it was like chocolate mousse.
No, it's like, I mean, it's
because now that sounds delicious. When you just if you reference spicy tuna, I'm in.
If you put it in the middle of a sushi roll, it'd be delicious. Like so, okay. Yeah. I think you'd like it.
Okay, perfect.
It sounds super gross, but it's not actually.
Maybe it's in the cookbook.
Oh, we'll have to look. Oh, you guys, next week we've got a great one too. Our second recipe out of the Murder She Wrote cookbook. Yes. It's called, and let us know. Let me know. I'm doing it for one reason because they're racist cookies. They're called Cabot Cove cookies. But
they're with the K's.
Every letter starts with a K. So it's KKK.
We're going to have some KKK next week.
It's because the woman who submitted the recipe apparently is named Kay, Kaye. So it's like K's Cabot Cove cookies.
My thing is like the KKK was around when this happened.
Oh, straight up.
It was, like more hardcore than it was today. So like,
I feel like she totally did this on purpose so she could call it KKK cookies. K's Cabot Cove cookies. All with a K. How did an editor not spot this? How did this get through?
They're just all white guys. Yeah. There's not one person of color on the show.
This episode was
we've had the one, though, in the alley who ended up being the good guy.
The pilot, broke the mold.
Actually, they are breaking... Okay, race barriers. Okay, yeah. I don't know how to feel about this now.
But this episode was very unitoned. That's
a good word.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think monotone is... I think I made up monotone. That's what I meant to say.
But I feel
unitone is still good though. I'll tell you, I'll take it. But yeah, this was a very the cop who was banging around was like the darkest one there, and he just had. If
this was a color wheel, we'd be staying on the white.
This is there's not a lot of pigments in this.
Even in the hair, in anything, in the outfits, it's all white.
Any coloration in the hair is dye.
Yeah,
100%.
Oh, like the one with the black, the one who's crying under the... What's her name?
Delta Burke. I call her Delta Burke because she
yeah. So Delta, her hair was...
jet black. A giant ball of jet black.
Do you know, the old...
Like Billy, the guy who died of cocaine he did so much cocaine when he was young it stopped his heart. And he sold the OxyClean.
Yeah, Billy Mays.
Billy Mays. Imagine Billy Mays' jet black mustache as an afro on someone's head.
You know what she reminded me of? The old McDonald's, cartoons, they had, Hamburglar and stuff. The pancake people?
Yeah.
Her face was a pancake person.
She had a pancake face, jet black afro. That's her.
Okay. So you guys have a visual.
And she's getting it on the regular from this cop.
Yeah. I mean, and once a week's probably good for them.
the thing, again, like, if you're in your 50s, I feel like once a week, honestly, once a week, I'd be fine with that.
Like,
I'm cool with
are they on top? Like, I'm just, not that I'm visualizing it, but I'm just like...
No, you're visualizing it.
But I'm just like, Beverly. Like, how could Beverly...
Oh, Beverly's on the bottom. Beverly's not. She's doing zero heavy lifting.
Or, I don't know, she's pretty proud of it. She could be...
Maybe, like she saves up all her... And that was a great joke, too, where when Dr. Hazlitt realizes what's going on, he's like, well, that's why she was so cheery every Friday morning.
Yeah, she was relaxed every Friday. Yeah. We're like, oh, God, yes.
She's got a good deep dick in every Thursday
exactly.
night. Okay, yeah. That's what it takes.
Okay, thank you. And then she gets pissed. She runs out the door. She's like, I'm going to have fun. If you're going to let go of me for, like, coming in late one day in 20 years, I'm going to go have fun. Then she pieces out and leaves them all in her house.
The great thing is, like, dude said nothing, too, by the way. She's like, oh, you're going to fire me for this? And he's just like, what's... I'm like, over here in another... I am in another room specifically so I don't have to talk to you.
Yeah.
And she's, like, monologues it and beats feet out the door.
I was like, okay, I can... Like, Beverly was the highlight of my...
Oh, Beverly's amazing.
God, it was fantastic. My God.
This is why the episode was named out. That's why it's not... If it's Wednesday, it must be...
Delta.
What was Ideal?
Oh, what was that?
What human is named Ideal?
I don't know.
Like, that's a horrible name.
And they kept saying it. I was like, you guys couldn't have picked a different name.
Maggie? You don't want to say Maggie?
I know, I was
20
so
times?
confused because Ideal is a state of being as well.
I kept saying, like, are they saying Adele really quickly? But no, they said it so many times.
Right.
It was nothing but clear that they were saying Ideal.
Yeah.
As a human's name.
We're like, okay. What else?
All right, you guys could have worked a little harder on that, but you know,
for the rest of the episode, I understand.
You know, still 10 stars. Like,
right.
It's not enough to dampen this episode.
Yeah. And
let's see. So we get Beverly and the young girl.
Yeah.
And she has. Oh, that's when they get tipped onto Loretta because she's like, "Oh, I didn't kill her. I was at the movies with one of the other women from the shop."
Loretta was going to go visit her sister in so-and-so.
Yeah, and so that's when they realized that Loretta...
doesn't have a sister.
So that's what led them, So that's what led them to Loretta. And while Loretta was doing that super cheesy, but still super effective in this sense, I thought, like, where instead of talking to the people who she's talking to, she turns, and so that, like, she's facing the mirror, but she's not looking in the mirror.
No.
So that way we can see her acting and, like, the... tears, she's
her
like,
wrinkles. When they talked about college.
Oh, that thing. She's like, oh, not that it's been working, and it's like, Loretta, stop, don't, you're killing me,
honey.
No, you're fabulous.
Yeah,
please.
Just because fucking asshole. Which, P.S. What the fuck is Loretta doing that she's not as good as Beverly? She gets cut off the list.
Exactly. Like you hear all this stuff, like you must know what he likes or whatever. Like. Put on a little something, like, because, like, in the ranking, if I had to be horrible and rank these women, like, Loretta's nowhere near the bottom.
No.
Not even close.
No. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, it just, he was like, oh, we didn't have chemistry or something. I'm like, do you really have chemistry with all these other 7 women?
You and Beverly, there's a lot of chemistry.
Yeah,
Sparks
exactly.
are flying with you and Beverly.
Like, what are your like, I don't know.
He has no standards. That's the thing.
And then Loretta got super sad apparently, and like, well, this is according to the guy, which we know guys always lie. Mm-hmm. But he's like, oh, she wanted to marry me. She's writing me all these letters. She probably texted him once. You know what I mean? Like, oh god, she's obsessed with me.
And even at the beginning of the episode, remember, he's like, oh, I don't like to go in there. He called his wife and made her come out to the car because he wouldn't go in there because he was afraid of Loretta.
Yeah.
Or the 80 other women in there who he's all sticking it to.
Right, exactly.
So it wasn't even necessarily Loretta.
Loretta probably just heard them all talking about it and was like, fuck you, dude, I'm out. And then he was like, oh no, I left her.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Loretta's too good for this.
Yeah, Loretta, she was probably like, she's been divorced for a while, or widowed or whatever.
Yeah.
And she heard all this talk, and she's like, I'll get in on this shit. Sounds like he's got Saturdays free. And it's like, and she probably was like, didn't live up to the hype.
No. Maybe because I'm Saturday and he's fucking exhausted from the other days, but who knows? I don't know.
Because, he does not take a day off.
No.
As we learned, doesn't take a single day off. It's crazy.
And he wears the same outfit every day.
Gross.
Yeah. That flannel. And
a black light to that outfit? That's got to be disgusting. That's got to be gross.
Thanks for putting that visual in my head.
Anyway, so when they're talking to Loretta, that's when, again, like, when you learn it's not Loretta, like, literally, I was like, who else? We're out of people. We're out of everybody it could be.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, Murder, She Wrote? How do you wrap this up? And Jessica sees the lottery tickets, and she's like...
I fucking know who it is.
As per usual, like, done. Like, snap of a fingers, like, I got it. Hey, derp-a-derp, follow me.
And Ben and I were also derpy-derps. We're like, what? We're like, how? What was his motive? Like, we didn't get it.
That's the thing, like, because we're like, the only other person in this episode was the mailman. So, when they show up at his house, we're like... What on earth? We're literally like, I was like glued to the screen. Like, how? Tell me. I got it. What's going on?
I stopped eating my food. I sat up in the chair and I was like, okay, go on.
Trying to like, Jessica, enlighten us
Yeah.
with pins and needles. JB, what's happening?
Darling, tell us. And basically the guy's in a suit, the mailman, and he has boxes all in his house. And like, are you moving? And he's like, meh. I don't know.
And he's like, super good mood. He's like, I was just about to go out in the town and celebrate. And blah, blah, blah. And like,
you'll never guess what happened. And they're like, oh, I bet we can.
I'll bet you won the lottery. How'd you know? Well, Mrs. Fletcher here says I can tell you the numbers that you have, too. Because she's the biggest Budinsky of them all.
Right,
and
exactly.
she knows everybody's number. She knows everybody's business.
And she's like, oh, it's what? Lottery number 10032?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't... And there's a pinhole in it.
Yeah. Well, I don't recall that. I don't know. And then that's the thing. He's like, I have no idea. And he's like, and then Derp-a-Derp's like, well, let me see the ticket. And it's like, I don't know. And he's still, as he's handing him the ticket with the giant numbers emblazoned on the front, he's like, don't know what you're talking about. This is crazy. Instead of like pushing him over and making a run for it or whatever. Like, get the fuck, or like, I don't have the ticket on me. I left it in the aisle. Like, zero attempt to get out of this.
Nothing. And they also made a comment when the mail went missing. They're like, oh, and that's why you didn't deliver the New Hampshire magazine because, like, you would know the winner lottery ticket
that's
or something.
I think that must be a generational thing because to know that you had to wait for a magazine to learn the lotto thing, like that's old school. That's some old school shit. Like, you have to get a New Hampshire specific magazine to get their lottery number, and and not their lottery numbers. It's one number. It's their lottery number. They put a number, and it's like
it's five. It's not even like a whole extended sequence.
No.
But I loved it. It added a little element.
Yeah. So it was like, that's the thing. Like, they ran out. Like, you went in there. You knew exactly who had what. You knew the winning number. You knew you gave it to.
And it was the $2
Audrey
million
or whatever.
one. Obviously.
It was the $2 million one. You knew exactly what you were doing. And then he, told the tale how he was just going to break in because he knew she never left it open. And again, like...
He made a comment like, oh, that stupid woman never left it open. Always left it open.
Yeah, this poor dead woman.
Yeah.
Nothing but shat on. This whole episode. Not 1 ounce of respect for the dead.
Cheated on. No one fucking cares about her.
Kind of glad she's dead.
Yeah.
Really, because even when they're talking about, like, she was in a foul mood yesterday. She was in a foul mood every day.
Yeah.
It's like, well, good. Well, glad she's dead. She deserves...
Maybe because her husband's fucking cheating on her every fucking day.
She's a little cranky because she's married to AIDS patient 0. Oh, fuck her. What an asshole. Her husband's out banging around every night. She can probably smell it on him when he gets home. She probably smells like a different...
Chanel number 5.
Like an different old lady perfume and powders every night when he comes home. She's washing these women's stink off of her sheets every day. And yeah, but she's the asshole. She's the asshole.
And then she has to go get her hair done, her little time away. And it's fucking with all these cunts.
And yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly. She's living in her own hellscape. Yeah. But you know what? Fuck her.
And they kind of alluded to, maybe she would have killed herself.
This thing, you know what? Now that I think about it, she had a lot going against her. She had a lot going. I might have taken the same way out myself.
And her husband was like, yeah, well, she was depressed.
Again, husband showed zero regret, banging around next day.
Didn't cry.
No crying. Took that ticket to Paris pretty quick, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And then even the dude that killed her is like, yeah, it was an accident. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to. And
fucking Jessica defends him. She's like, well, you did use the gun in their house, which shows it wasn't premeditated. Don't worry. And it's like...
She's
fucking dude.
Jessica's basically like, we'll get you a reduced sentence.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, you did this town a favor. She was,
exactly.
Obviously. No one wanted her around.
God. And the guy, doesn't, he tries to cry. He doesn't really cry.
He's not the strongest.
Yeah.
They were like, you know what, you're perfect as the derp-a-derp mailman. Visine at the end, you'll cry a little bit. But for the 99% of the episode where you're derp-a-derp mailman, you're perfect. Fine.
Exactly. You're good. So, and then that was basically...
And then we get the little cutscene at the end.
Which was great. Just
because, again, this guy, AIDS patient 0, who's philandering around, showing zero remorse for his wife. Like, oh, did you reinstate him? Oh, no, he's been on extended leave. So, basically, like, I took it to mean... He went to Paris instead of planning his wife's funeral.
Yeah, of course.
Bro was banging around his southern France. And he got the lottery win. He's like, technically, he won the lottery, so he gets to keep all the money. It's like, so this guy, this horrible human being, fucking came, like, this guy came out smelling like roses. Like,
he really did.
It could not have worked out better. It literally could not have worked out better for him.
Seriously.
The second his wife won the lottery, which she probably would have left him, taken that money and gotten the fuck out of town. The second that happened, she got murdered and he got all the money. And he got to keep banging around.
Yeah.
He didn't have to pay alimony.
And no one in the town judged him.
Because they were all banging him. So no one cared. So everybody was in the same boat. So now he has his pick of women. He's got $2 million. He can retire at age 55 or whatever he is. Like,
right.
This guy, the morality tale in this episode is seriously fucked up. This is a seriously fucked up morality.
It is.
But goddamn it,
it was my favorite episode though, so I loved it.
Oddly enough, it was the best episode we've seen so far.
Yes, so odd in that aspect.
Okay, so that's where we ended. That was
it was great.
Damn, that was a good episode.
It really was.
I keep sending in suggestions, guys, because we want more like this.
We appreciate this.
We want. Speaking of which,
any LA ones?
Yes, that's exactly where I was going.
Okay.
Our guests next week, because when we have a guest on, we let them choose the episode. Because especially if they're fans, like when Marco was on, he's straight up fan of the show. So he's like, we're like, if you want to watch anyone in particular, let us know. He told us, and so our guest next week did the same thing, and she was like, not picky, but all I know is the ones where she goes to LA, I love.
So seeing as we've only seen the 6 we've talked about, we need some suggestions.
So if you know any episodes, particularly good episodes where Jessica is in Los Angeles, let us know, and then that's what we're going to watch next week.
Yes, please.
Okay, guys. So yeah, send us in, and once we know which one we're doing, we'll tweet it out. So follow us on @Murder We Spoke on Twitter. We'll tell you guys there, so you can watch it beforehand if you want.
Right.
But yeah, LA Murder She Wrote. Let us know. Doesn't matter what season it's in. Right. It can be any of the seasons.
Just LA.
Yeah, as long as it's in LA, that's our goal. Okay. And
and if you're listening, we read like tweets and reviews if you want to
leave us a deserving review. If you think we do a 5-star job, hey, God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you. If you think we do a 4-star job,
let us know.
Hey, that's still pretty good. I'm not going to complain about a 4-star review. But on the other hand, we have been tipped off that there may be a 1-star review floating out there.
Which, if you guys are choosing your podcasts off reviews, don't trust stupid people, is my thing. I feel like Melissa's not here to hold us back, so I don't know.
I'm trying to be very diplomatic about this because it's...
Okay, so Ben can be diplomatic. We got a 1-star review. Should I
It's on, like, you can go, it's on iTunes. I don't want to
read it. We can't do that.
Because it's like, it's really like, it's like vile and hateful. Unnecessarily so.
Yeah. So we were kind of like I was like, what's the deal? I mean, we're not everyone's cup of tea, but we're not like deserving of this hate after like 5 episodes.
We understand if you love Murder, She Wrote, you listen to the show, hey, not for me. That's fine. Go with God. There is, again, on our Pretty Little Liars podcast, like, the number of Pretty Little Liars podcasts is insane, but we're chummy with them. We're
all friends.
It's such a wonderful community. Which sounds like super cheesy, and I'm sorry I said that, but it is like,
it's true though.
Like, we've had, like, Marco Sparks, who we've had on this show, host another Pretty Little Liars podcast. Yeah, super great dude.
Because we're like, wow, we're friends. We're friends with Allie Spencer. No, we're into the same show, and we have the same sense of humor, and it's kind of like
we like chatting about it. It's not. That's the great thing. It's like, it's not any kind of rivalry. Which makes it so much more, like, frankly, because when we first started and, like, there was other podcasts and they're like, who's getting better, like, that kind of stuff, like, it was super
angsty.
Like, it was too angsty. And then once we actually kind of chatted with him on Twitter, had him on our show, we're going on another one in a couple weeks. We're going to go talk PLL with another group of people. It
It's
became
great.
like, it's so much more fun when everybody is just buddies. It's just so much more fun when you realize, like, we're all here for the same reason. We're here to talk about PLL and have fun. Like, no one's making millions of dollars talking about PLL.
Right,
or
exactly.
Murder, She Wrote. So
This isn't a huge competition.
So we're
really.
here to have a good time, guys. And that's all it is. And that makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, I'm just gonna say we released our podcast, and there's another podcast released on the same day. Great, mazel. The more, the better. We can talk more.
There's so much room in Cabot Cove, and we are taking so drastically different approaches because the other one is doing it chronologically.
Which is great.
Yeah, whereas we're bouncing around, we're not going to cover every episode. So
because it would take us 30 years, probably.
Exactly. At our pace, it would absolutely take us way too long. We'd be Beverly's age by the time this thing wrapped up. Not feasible.
Hopefully having still good, clean sex at that point.
Like, that's how we would end this. If we watched every one, we'd just go back and watch that one more time.
End it.
Cheers to Beverly. Curtain call. That's
exactly.
But
anyways, we don't know who... Anyways, one of the guests on the other show left us the 1-star review at the same time as leaving a 5-star review on the other one, which is totally fine. But it just seemed a little biased and a little hateful.
It's just a little bit of dirty pool. So
just don't take it into consideration is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's all we're saying. Like, if you listen to the show, if you liked it, give us a review that we've earned. But if you have criticisms...
Give us a criticism.
How about you can even email... Tweet us like, hey, I wish you guys talked about this. I wish you did this. Maybe try this.
I wish you guys weren't such idiots. Like, I'll take it.
Exactly. We're very open to suggestions. If you have obviously we're 6 episodes in, so this is getting
we're still in the working phase.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to take 5 minutes to talk about our 1-star review because we've already done that on our other podcast.
But it's okay. He's probably happy.
Yeah.
No, he's not listening. I know he's not listening. It's the thing.
So it was dirty pull. But listen to the other podcast because I actually have listened to it. The host over there is wonderful.
Yeah.
And
we've actually
open invitation to have her on the show because I do think she's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
And whoever likes Jessica Fletcher is honestly a friend of mine.
There's no hate in our hearts.
No.
We don't hold anything that. So don't. As some suggest carpet bomb like the other podcast of 1-star reviews. No, that's stupid.
No, we're just saying don't get a biased reaction from a 1 review.
That's the thing, because with podcasts, the stupid thing is the amount of reviews and the accumulation of the reviews. That's what iTunes chooses to promote. How people
It's a popularity contest.
It is. It's a weird thing. It's dependent on you, the listener, to help people find us. So if we're doing a good job, 5-star review, that's going to help us kind of get out there more. Maybe iTunes will promote it more, whatever. So that's
as opposed to it being buried.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all it is. So we're just.
But there's only 2 of us, so if you do anything, you'll find us no matter what. So don't.
Exactly. Now, like that. Yeah, there's
no need for that.
Cabot Cove, as small a town as it is, perfectly big enough for two not PLL, Murder She Wrote podcasts. There's 87 PLL podcasts. So.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so there's plenty of room. So listen to ours. You have plenty of time to listen to hers too, and she's wonderful. So I would recommend. And she actually had. I will openly admit that I'm super jealous of her because she had Steele Saunders on as a guest, who is fucking wonderful. I love him. He's an Australian comedian, and he's in town for Comic-Con, and she had him on her show, and he's wonderful. So we're
thinking she's wonderful too.
You know what? I trust Steele's judgment.
Exactly. So
next time he's in LA, I want to get him on our Pretty Live podcast.
Right.
We're not going to make him double dip on Murder, She Wrote, but we will have him come in and watch some Spencer, some Allie, all that kind of. We'll watch
the younger version of Murder, She Wrote, basically.
Exactly.
Is what it is.
That's what we'll have him come in and do. But, So again, guys, we don't want to start some stupid.
No, we're not.
Murder, She Wrote podcast feud that 2 people would care about. That's stupid.
Me and Ben.
Yeah, exactly. That we're the people that would care about it. We don't need.
Right.
I don't need the Spilkus, frankly. It's not we're all here for fun. And
clearly,
and this was totally fun. Until we had to start talking about a 1-star review.
But the thing is, we read all reviews. On whether they're 1-star, 5-star, if we think they're funny, even if they're hating on us. This was just a little...
This was
a little special.
It was dirty pool. It was dirty pool. And that's all I'm saying. But again, so that's all I'm saying. go leave us a review. Listen to her podcast. I'm sure you'll leave her a wonderful review too because she's great.
Yeah.
So
tweet us. We'll read
tweet
it.
Tweet at her and tell her to come on our show too. By the way.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure she is in LA. We'll Skype in.
Or just keep retweeting our tweet that we already asked.
Yeah.
And then it'll just like keep popping up in the feed.
Yeah. Tell her, yeah, we want her to come on the show because I would love to. What I would actually love to do is have her on the show when we're doing like a season 12 episode because she's now in season 1. She's like in the middle of season 1.
Because, yeah, she's watching every one. Right?
Yeah, because she's not going to get to season 12 for like 5 years. So it'd be so much fun to travel, like to time travel with her to season 12.
There's probably going to be the same guest on it too.
And that's
or
the thing.
I mean, the
she'll
same
probably
like
recognize someone.
Yeah.
Like just to see the vast difference. I think it would be so much fun to like have like her perspective where she's, you know, like waist deep in season 1 and she's kind of.
And she knows the characters more than we do because
exactly.
we haven't been.
And she can kind of talk to us about all the difference because again we've seen like an episode from like the first 5 seasons. Like
we're all over the place.
Yeah, it'd be so much fun. So yeah, tweet it.
Yeah, I mean the possibilities are really endless with.
It'd be so much fun. I think it would be. We're
just sitting here dreaming about it. So let's come on.
Yeah,
let's collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
We're all JB fans. We're all Fletcher fans.
True story. Yes.
Okay, guys. Like you've had enough of us. Like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, normally we do a little quiz, but we'll do that next time.
We'll do that
because
because
no fun with one person.
It's got to be a competition. Usually we do, the top 10 shows, and it's getting so good because now it's getting into this is the reign of the sitcoms. So these are ones that you actually might recognize.
Okay,
again.
they're not.
It's not Dynasty and Knots Landing.
Well,
But
I guessed all the ones from 70s and 90s.
Although we're getting there because this episode, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the original air date on the one we just watched was November 8th, 1987. So
87?
we're getting close to the 90s. We're getting
Well, I was born almost in 91.
Yeah.
So, but wait, how long did it went till what year?
90. It was on for 12 seasons, starting in 80, so 96. It went into the mid 90s.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
I was in kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah. So, especially if you have an LA episode that was in the later seasons.
Please.
Boom.
I want to feel like I'm there.
That'd be perfect. And then we could do that quiz and Marissa would get all 10.
Fingers crossed.
10 for 10.
I'm still kind of the derpy derp on the podcast. Melissa knows every show, and I'm just nothing.
She got lucky. Let's say it. She got lucky.
There'll be a rematch, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. There's still plenty. We still have like 7 seasons that we haven't touched on, so there's time.
Okay.
All right, guys. I think that's everything.
Okay. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.